New York, a city pushed to the edge. People pushed to the limit, and no one's got the guts to stop them.
It's collection time, Charlie.
3 murders, 4 rapes, 9 acts of random violence. This isn't a neighborhood, it's a war.
But there is one way. One man who won't be pushed. Charles Bronson.
What's the problem? Now you're gonna die.
It'll be just like before, Mr. Vigilante, with one important difference. You're gonna work for me.
People have got to start to fight back and hard.
I sent them a message.
That's him. I'll take care of him.
And now, he's in the middle of a war.
See what you done? You got me mad.
In a world gone mad, there is only one law. His. Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3. Bronson's back in New York, bringing justice to the streets. Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3.
How are you today, Michael?
Well, I'm speaking from the UK, where it's night, and I'm as well as I'm pretty well, thank you.
I want to bring our audience up to speed real quick. You have been responsible for directing Marlon Brando, Orson Welles, Faye Dunaway. You brought us Death Wish, one of my all-time favorites, The Mechanic, one of my favorite westerns of all time, Chato's Land, which is a movie I can't believe and get into later. But also sitting with me today, Michael, in the booth is an actor you hired once upon a time for Death Wish 3, Mr. Rico Ross.
Oh, he's lovely.
What's up, Michael?
How are you, Rico? We're very fond of Rico. Nice to see you. Well, not see you. Nice to hear you.
Nice to hear you, too. You sound exactly the same.
Well, if it were true.
You know what, I'll tell you, Michael, we had Rico on the show before, and he was telling us some very, very hair-raising stories about your directing style. Very respectable. What is Rico like, real quick, Michael, if you would, as an actor? What was the hiring process with Rico? Was he a handful as an actor, or was he good?
No, he's a great professional. A great professional and a damn good actor. And he was just a pleasure to have on the set. Everybody liked him. And that's very important, you know, because you have a good actor. But I haven't had any good actors who were difficult. They were all terrific, but Rico is top of the line. I adore him.
Oh, thank you, Michael. And you know what I like about Michael is one of those no-nonsense directors. He gets there and he gets the job done, and when you see the energy that he's bringing and the focus and the drive, you can't help but just say, okay, this is a job. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. And sometimes when you're working on a film, you know, things can go wrong and people get all excited, and sometimes actors can be prima donnas, but when you're working on a winner film, you know, this is a job. We're going to make it happen. No matter what happens, we're going to cross that hurdle. You know? Michael, I remember when we were making Death Wish that Charles also, his wife was having some medical issues.
Well, she had cancer.
Right.
And she thought she had recovered. And it was then, which upset Charlie deeply, that there began to be signs that it was coming back.
Right.
And that was the medical issue, and it did come back. And so a few years later it killed her. She was very young. Terrible thing to happen. She was the most vibrant, beautiful. You know how beautiful was Rico. You saw her. She came on the set frequently.
That's right.
And so he was a bit itsy on that, and I don't blame him. You know, you've gone through cancer with the wife. You think she's cured, and now she has it again. It's too terrible. And Charlie had to see. He lived in a hut, a mining hut, in a mining town with a family of 13. And he said, I had to see my father dying of cancer for 3 years. I never want to see that happen to anybody again. And sadly, it did happen to Jill.
Right. I remember talking to him, and we were talking about a number of things. And then I asked him about his wife, and his whole demeanor just completely changed. I can see how that had affected him so dearly, and now it makes sense. Now that you say that his father had actually.
Well, it was a great love story, and sadly it ended not as they would have liked. They should have sailed into the sunset together. You know, it doesn't always happen. Life is not always as we hope it to be.
All right. Well, thanks for that insight, because I recognized that was when I brought her up, the kind of the pain that it instantly showed on him, and now it kind of makes
the
sense.
wonderful line of Charlie's on Death Wish 3. He had a lot of muggers to kill, as he did. I love Death Wish 3. It was very kitsch, very camp.
Yes.
And he had to kill all these muggers. You see, he had to run with this rather heavy World War II machine gun. And he said to me, Michael, he said, my doctor says I mustn't run without getting into shape first. I mustn't run. And the machine gun is terribly noisy. It's very bad for my ears. I said, well, Charlie, darling, if you can't run and you can't fire a machine gun, you've got to kill another 56 muggers. What are we going to do? We'll have to open a hot dog stall. We'll have to food poison them.
Hilarious.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.